Hey everyone, Double Trader here. In today's video I'm going to walk you through a quick recap of London Open session. I will share the context I had before the session, what I was thinking during the move, and how I interpreted the price action after everything played out. The goal is to give you a clear view of my thought process, not just the trades, but the reasoning behind them. Let's go. So generally we had an large range Asian session before, which basically made me expect high resistance liquidity run conditions and rather sloppy London Open session. Because the overnight run was predominantly higher, my initial focus was on relative equal lows that could be targeted as a drawn liquidity. But also, very important, I was keeping in mind that the higher time frame might still be more bullish and the price could still expand. Nonetheless, that was basically the context that I was going with into this session. Alright, so now let's jump back to the recording of the stream that I did, and let's talk about it in hindsight and how it actually played out, what I could have done better and stuff like that. So generally, because it was a large rally overnight, I wasn't expecting too much, as I also wrote at the beginning of the stream, but I was predominantly interested in the sell-side liquidity in form of relative equal lows. I annotated a pair of those slightly above the first printed fair value gap after midnight, and generally I was thinking that it's a very reasonable and likely draw on liquidity for price, but I was expecting trouble. I was expecting high resistance nonetheless, because of how the Asian session delivered. My go-to idea or go-to scenario that I was looking for was to run out the buy-side liquidity in form of the relative equal highs that I noted, and then possibly reject and trade below the BSC, inverse the BSC, and most likely or probably run towards the sell-side liquidity. So that was my best case scenario that I was really looking for, and in my opinion that would offer an low resistance liquidity run. But it happened to not deliver this way today, which is completely fine and understandable after what we saw in Asia. So nonetheless, I was reading the tape, watching the price, how the PD arrays actually perform, and here you can see that price did close below this BSC, so it turned into an inversion fair value gap, but I didn't want it to short this inversion. Why? Because it failed to take out the buy side previously, so I wasn't confident or comfortable to go short in here, because my experience was telling me that it's probably likely to fail, and in that scenario it would need to show me a 15-second displacement lower, and then I would consider that, but it didn't happen, so there was no trade there. Then I was thinking that maybe now we will run the buy-side liquidity, relative equal highs, but yet price failed to do so, and then offer a run lower, clearing the minor sell side, but not much after that. So again, that wasn't something that I was looking for pretty much. So at this point I was like, all right, it's probably like a messy consolidated type of session, not that likely to deliver. But then it started to draw this bear flag, which I was thinking like, this could be a false bear flag that could fail and run some short-term buy side into this inversion fair value gap, and maybe or possibly deliver to that sell side, right? That was like my last type of chance to this idea to deliver the sell side during the London Open. But yeah, it was meandering a lot, and the fact that it was taking or making those lower lows should keep me like alerted that someone is buying that, and if they were buying those lows, they might be willing to offset it above the buy side. So that was suspect as I'm looking at it right now. But nonetheless, I was expecting a potential run on those relative equal highs. It did that, and then I was demanding or expecting some measure of rejection of that, but it never happened, right? It never happened. Price traded above the consecutive encroachment of the inversion, and basically that cut the bait for the London Open session, and I was no longer interested in going short during this particular session, and that was it for me. So no trades taken, pretty patient session. So thanks for watching, and see you again in the next one tomorrow.